Today, we're looking at the 4 prevailing trends that are destroying housing affordability in the Greater Toronto Area. Let's go. Hi there, I'm Dean Gibbons, your Greater Toronto Area real estate guy, and I help people like you make the move to and from the Greater Toronto Area a fun and profitable experience. So if you'd like to contact me to discuss anything related to GTA real estate, my contact information is in the description below. So now that that's out of the way, let's get on with today's video. Today, we're looking at the 4 prevailing trends that are destroying housing affordability in the Greater Toronto Area. Let's go. Yes! Number 1 on our list is the foreign purchase of Canadian homes. Now, this has been ongoing for over 30 years now, ever since Hong Kong reverted back to China. And it took our government 30 years for a temporary ban to finally be put in place, but that has proven to be far too little and far too late, because today, permanent residents and recent citizens have bought up over $200 billion worth of Canadian homes.
I shouldn't have done that.
Now, I get it, it's hard to make this argument without sounding xenophobic, but the facts are the facts. There are just so many documented cases where illegally obtained foreign money is used to purchase an immovable asset like Canadian real estate. And unfortunately, our country does very little to dissuade foreign entities and money launderers and even criminals from purchasing Canadian homes.
And I'm really sorry.
And trust me, I've been there. Nothing sucks more than getting into a bidding war against someone with millions of dollars in Ponzi scheme money.
You lose that battle. You lose that battle 9 times out of 10.
Number 2 on the list, Airbnb. Now, 15 years ago, Airbnb burst onto the scene and changed the game forever. Now, Airbnb gave birth to something we never knew we needed: illegal hotel rooms. And it didn't take long before so friggin' many of them popped up that it depleted the available rental stock considerably. And since then, the presence of Airbnb has enabled and in many cases encouraged developers to build thousands of microcondos marketed almost exclusively towards Airbnb investors. Now, in downtown Toronto alone, there are literally several thousand Airbnb rentals on the market right now. Now, were it not for Airbnb, these would be desperately needed long-term rentals, or even better, owner-occupied units. The local governments have barely and only just recently started to regulate short-term rentals, but as usual, the legislation doesn't really have any teeth. It won't bring about any meaningful change in the foreseeable future. All the while, average rents continue to climb, and would-be tenants are taking it on the chin, as usual, with yearly rent increases and rent evictions. Number 3 on the list, international students. And this is a wild one because government-sponsored post-secondary education is a business that sells overseas parents on spending $150,000 to $250,000 for their kids' education, and of course, a guaranteed path to Canadian citizenship. And it just keeps growing. 2022 was a record year for international students coming to Canada to study. And these government-sponsored universities and colleges, unfortunately, don't provide any housing to these international students who are arriving in record numbers. So where do they go? You guessed it, the long-term rental market, which is already drastically undersupplied. But if you're super rich, if your parents are super rich and you're studying in Canada, they'll just buy you a house or a condo. But any way you slice it, this is just not good for people working, living, and paying taxes in Canada that are trying to get into the housing market. Number 4 on the list is NIMBYism. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this term, it stands for not in my backyard. And it refers to those people who oppose all forms of development in their neighborhoods. Now, Canada's housing dysfunction is rooted in provincial and city governments that just don't have a strategy for dealing with the immigrant influx and are also just too easily swayed by residents groups opposing greater density. For instance, the core city of Toronto has a population density of less than half of New York City's. Yet for some reason, we still give a voice to these Karens who show up at the council meetings to oppose housing density. Now, NIMBYism, we know, causes significant delays in getting shovels in the ground for new housing. And the costs associated with those delays are just simply passed along to end users. This is not good. Now, I get that people don't want to live in a construction zone, but don't you want your kids to have the same shot at home ownership that you did? To me, this is just a matter of what is the common good. And should people be allowed to impede a responsible development from going forward for frivolous reasons that go against the common good? Now, I have my own thoughts on that, but I'm curious to hear what others have to say about this. Do you think homeowners should have the ability to kill a new development for personal reasons?
No.
Thanks for watching this video. If I left out anything that you would have added to this list, you can notify me in the comment section below, and I just might update this video to include your suggestion. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to this channel. To learn more about how I help people move to and from the Greater Toronto Area, visit deangibbons.com. If you'd like to book a call, you can do so by clicking on the first link in the description below.